They never believed in me. They thought my startup was a hobby, a phase, a joke. They mocked my dream and told me to find a real job. Can you imagine building an empire in the shadows, creating something truly revolutionary, only to be dismissed as an underachiever by the very people whose love you craved? That piercing sting became my secret fuel, pushing me toward a truth so explosive it risked shattering my world entirely. My hand trembled, a barely perceptible tremor, as I reached for the pen. $190 million. The number blazed at me from the acquisition agreement, sprawled across the polished mahogany of the conference table. Around me, a dozen executives in custom-tailored suits waited in respectful, almost reverent silence. They were waiting for me, Chloe Elizabeth Hayes, to sign away 6 years of my life's work. "Take your time, Miss Hayes," Daniel Miller, CEO of Titan Innovations, said, his voice a calm tide of assurance. The kind of patience only afforded to someone about to write a check with 8 zeros. I glanced up, my eyes sweeping across the floor-to-ceiling windows of the 40th floor boardroom. Chicago stretched out below, an intricate tapestry of lights and shadows, its iconic skyline punctuated by the very smart buildings that Cityscape now managed. Somewhere in that sprawling urban labyrinth, my parents were probably having a quiet lunch, utterly oblivious that their struggling daughter was moments away from becoming one of the youngest self-made female entrepreneurs in PropTech history. The bitter irony wasn't lost on me. In just 3 hours, I'd be sitting at my brother Ethan's engagement dinner, listening to my mother suggest I apply for entry-level positions, while I secretly carried the weight of a 9-figure exit in my pocket. "Miss Hayes," Samantha Reed, Titan's VP of Corporate Development, leaned forward slightly, her perfectly manicured fingers drumming once softly against her leather portfolio. "Any final questions before we proceed?" I almost laughed. Samantha had no idea that in exactly 3 hours and 27 minutes, she'd be shaking hands with my brother across a white tablecloth, introducing herself as his fiancée. No idea that the family dinner she'd mentioned postponing for the signing was the exact same dinner where I'd planned to silently play the role of the underachieving younger sister. Life, it seemed, had a truly twisted sense of humor. I pressed the pen to the paper, signing my name, Chloe Elizabeth Hayes, CEO and co-founder, Cityscape Technologies, with steady, unyielding strokes. The room erupted in polite applause. Handshakes and congratulations followed, but my mind was already racing, catapulting towards a conversation I'd both dreaded and anticipated for years. Tonight, my two worlds would collide in the most spectacular, terrifying way imaginable. "Chloe, computers are a hobby, not a career." Those words, laced with gentle dismissal, echoed in my head as I set the signed contract aside, my thoughts drifting back to where it all began. Highland Park, Illinois, 1998. I was 8 years old, cross-legged on our pristine hardwood floor, utterly absorbed in the family's new gateway computer. In the next room, my brother Ethan practiced violin. Our house wasn't just a home. It was a monument to achievement. Dr. Richard Hayes' framed medical degrees lined the hallway. My mother, Eleanor's law school diplomas and bar association awards dominated her home office. Ethan's academic trophies built an entire bookshelf. And there I was, teaching myself basic HTML. They discussed my concerning lack of focus in hushed kitchen conversations. Dad's obsession with traditional success wasn't arbitrary. I learned years later that he lost a patient early in his career due to a communication error between departments. A preventable